Hello everybody. Lovely Mikey gave me this church. Old Sheldon Church in South Carolina. It's had pillars at the front. It's lost its roof. It's just a carcass now. And I don't know, it's not the biggest place. It's supposed to be a church. Oh, I found that on my rounds. Everybody's seen that one, but I just put that in. And look at this one here. That one. That's amazing, that one. And that one there, derelict in England, same sort of thing, has no roof on it. Just like this place. Seemed to take the roofs off. I showed Koya in Turkey. It was a Greek ghost town. The same thing, didn't have any of the roofs, just the carcass of the building, but no roofs. Yeah, it's quite a amazing little church. Got a few stones there, you know, tombstones. They have little ceremonies there. Funny little altar thing in there. It looks like a fireplace, to be honest. I thought, is that a fireplace? Anyway, that's where they stand to do the whatever they're going to do, and obviously meet there sometimes. Looks bigger inside than it did. Doesn't it? It looks a bit bigger, but sometimes cameras do that kind of thing, don't they? Yeah, this is in South Carolina. Robert! Get Robert to go there. That's where he lives. Yeah, it looks amazing. It's got pillars all around it. There's the little tombstones. But there's obviously some other reason it happened to be empty. They said, what they said was that the people took the roof and that, you know, what it is it was a fire or something. There's always a fire, isn't there? And then the people there took parts of it to build their own houses, but I don't believe that's true because there's so many other buildings like this without any roofs. Maybe in the end the people took the stuff, but they didn't, you know, take it. Why is the building still standing if they took all the other bits? Why not take the other bits then, the bricks and that? That's what I think. But anyway, yeah, maybe it's from the old order, not the new order. Anyway, that's what it's supposed to look like. Doesn't really look that old, does it, when you see it like that? You don't think, oh, that's 200-300 years old. So anyway, it's another person's drawing of the inside. Yeah, we're just looking at a few pictures. It's quite a nice place to go and visit if you live there. And there's the tombstones, I think. Probably in this bit where names got changed, and this was somewhere close to somewhere that's not there anymore, and it just got left. And yeah, in some of the trees there's bricks. Yeah, I mean, it's news to me. I've never seen trees with bricks in, but I'm going to read you something in a minute. Some nice trees and bricked in trees. Another one. Yeah, this person says, they're obviously explaining that the tree is to stop damage, and then a person says, yes, I've seen plenty of trees, mostly oaks, with an old hole from missing limbs or trunks that were filled in with bricks or simply with concrete. Keeps water and critters out of the holes and therefore stops rot and stuff coming in. And then underneath it with these pictures, I thought that was quite crazy, some of those, like how the tree is engulfed whatever it's around. I think that one's a beer crusher or something. Yeah, a can crusher. They don't seem to mind metal poles. They grow through that. And that's a playground. I mean, what are you going to do then? You'd have to knock the tree down. There it is. There's a sign or something in there. That one's taken the fence. And another sign. It's amazing, isn't it? The tree just engulfs them. Doesn't grow round it, just engulfs it. There's a car in there. Look at that one. Anyway, let's look up a little bit of the history. They are saying here that in 1757 was its first service. So this was a very old building. Shame, isn't it, that they wouldn't want to preserve that building then? I feel that these churches, or whatever they are, they've been taken out for other reasons. But yeah, so there you go. It says 1757. Old church ruins, historic site located northern boundary, Beaufort County, South Carolina it is. The tradition outstanding is that the Prince William was burned by the official South Carolina report on the destruction of church. What's that? Oh right, okay. Was burned by destruction of churches, and its massive walls survive the last as they did the former. I've seen a lot of buildings like this. As I said, I've done a few now. All the roofs are off, even in England. There you go. There is one in England that has its sides but not its roof. They're all over the place. Yeah, it's been derelict for quite a long time, I think, that one. Like that one, because they're empty. There's no rubble or anything. There's a little bit more information. 1757. And obviously people sit in it now, don't they? Because we saw pictures with people sitting in it. And then it tells you a bit there about things. You can stop and read that, but of course that'll never probably add up. But it's very sad that this little building's gone. Very sweet little church in nice little grounds. Yes, a little bit more information there. I didn't open the recorder up wide enough to do the whole thing, but yeah, I don't believe any of their stuff because I told you, even on, I put it on a hangout yesterday, we did Texana. So what it could have meant was that this church was actually linked to another town which isn't there anymore, and a lot of people don't know today because many Americans don't even know that only a bit ago all the towns were changed. Even, like I said, finding out about well, I feel like I've made another video now and added it, but you know, in the last few days we've looked at Bannerman Castle. It was magnificent. Even only a short while ago, through even a video which they made, one of those stupid Crime Watch Daily things near it, was there a lot more castle, and there isn't now. And we've done Texana. Texana was there, it isn't there, it's under a reservoir, and many towns in the 1800s, late 1800s, got their names changed. And this was me starting to go through the list, but it actually took me 15 minutes roughly, because I just thought, well, it can't be that long, and I was talking away and I thought, when's this going to end? I'm going to keep talking, and I think, oh my god, we're only at sea. So many names. Anyway, and then in the last day or so, me and Amy did that one. This one was me and Gillian. We were looking up, because she'd watched a video wanting to understand what the First and Second Reich were before the Third Reich, which obviously was Nazi land. And what became really apparent was that somewhere this history overlaps, but they've separated it out, so it's almost impossible, even though they're telling you things. Because when we wanted to look up what the Holy Roman Empire was, we thought everything would direct to Rome, and it didn't. No matter, you know, like we actually did the hangout where we're investigating, so it takes a little while for us to catch up into the fact that, oh, you're not being directed to Rome, you're being directed to Germany, and it's only Germany. And so the Holy Roman Empire was Germany, not the Italians. The Italians were part of their Holy Roman Empire. Can you believe that? I'm just like, so do you understand, with buildings without roofs on, you know, something else has been probably happening here, because they're not even telling us the truth about this. Me and Gillian were a bit like, holy moly. You know, the way they painted him, Napoleon, like, he still could be a book and not real and part of the game. But he could be actually the goodie. And that's maybe why he thought he could be emperor. But anyway, it's probably all just a story. But when you're looking this up, do you see what I mean? Like here, do you see? Not all of Italy is included in there. Only half of Italy. This part of Italy was not included in the Holy Roman Empire. And actually, it was Germany with them. And at other times, there was other countries. It was bigger. And by the Second World War, it got like enormous. It like conquered. But anyway, that is the same as the Holy Roman Empire. There you go. Look, here was the Holy Roman Empire, the First Reich. Yes. It all leads to Germany. Not Italy. When you start actually delving into things, you start realising they're not talking about Italy being the Holy Roman Empire. It's Germany that is. And Italy's a part of half of it's been captured in this. But only half of it. To just past Rome. So that bit is included in it, but I was just like, when have we ever learned that the Holy Roman Empire is Germany? It's just getting crazy. So you can understand what I mean when I'm talking about the roofs. It's never what they say. A fire. Yeah, on Bannerman Island, supposed to be a fire. But you would never ever tell. It just looks like they've been dismantling it because it looks like Avalon. Where is it? Let's look at it. Look at this. Don't you think that looks like it could have been an Avalon? I mean, this place was beautiful. And now there's hardly any of it left. So sad, isn't it? And so most Americans don't even know they've got castles. Do you see what I mean? They're just destroying it all under our noses. And guess what? They took the roof off this one as well. This one, yeah, set afire again. And has no roof. Do you see? They've all got this thing about no roofs. Most bizarre. You could say it's an earthquake, it's this, it's a fire. A fire or an earthquake. That's what that's the answers. But I don't think so. Anyway, let's continue with the video. And when I did Texas, it took me 15 minutes to go through all the towns where they changed the names. We've learnt that in Maryland there was a Rome. So something big changed in the 1800s, about the time that this place was supposedly caught fire, whatever they want to say. It's not the biggest building. But anyway, Mikey, thank you very much for bringing this to our attention with all those pillars again. Thank you very much. Our next stop is the Statue of Liberty. I'm quite interested, and we're going to talk a little bit more later on about that fort, which isn't there anymore. Now, they're saying, when I was looking it up, that thing was put up in the 1800s with this crane, and it looks so easy, but in reality, the base of that thing is enormous. It's enormous. It's as big as it, with the brick wall that's a star fort. And then that base is as big as the statue on top. And yeah, there you go. That's what they're saying that they used to make it in the 1800s. I never saw the crane before, and now I found a few pictures with the crane and a few more pictures with the star fort underneath, which is quite great because, you know, when I was doing it before, I really struggled to find the Empire State Building with a star fort on it. I mean, in some senses, it doesn't... Oh, I don't know. Yeah, there you go. Doesn't quite look so big, does it, there? And everybody knows it's enormous because you can see people down here or something. There's people here. So it's not as big as it actually is, but it's enormous. Oh, I don't know. But the fort isn't there anymore, so we're going to look up a little bit about the fort. Yeah. And she doesn't particularly look that feminine either, the statue. I don't know why they say it's a woman. I wonder what it means with this fort behind like that, because that is some kind of star fort thing anyway, isn't it? They look like houses, but it's obviously some barracks or something. I want to look it up in a minute. Be an armoury, because everything's an armoury when it comes to here. I think in one of the pictures it said when it was being built there. We've already just gone past that. There you go, high resolution picture. And it had these two jetties on there. I think it looks smaller today, somehow. Maybe the buildings made it look bigger. Yes, nice little star fort. We like our star forts, don't we? Linking that one in with Stonehenge there. Suppose it's better without the building. Oh look, that's quite a nice. Let's go back to that picture a minute. This shape, look there, look at that. With star fort, see? Shape. Anyway, they show this as well, see, because it's all sort of, well, that's the remains. So what we're going to do is, oh, there's that shape again. See, it's quite a nice shape. I'm going to go over to look up the fort now, and there you go. It talks a bit about it. It says that basically someone who was, it was named after this person, Colonel Darby, or E. Darby Wood, who was killed in the siege of Fort whatever that is in 1813. The granite fortification followed an 11-pointed star fort layout with mounting 24 guns, and by the time the island was chosen for the Statue of Liberty, the fort was disused and its walls were used as the base for the structure. Statue, same thing really, structure, statue. 11-pointed star. By the time the island was chosen, the fort was disused. It was built in the late 1800s, so they say. And there you go, you can read the rest of it. That bit there, that bit of information. If you want, just stop the video and read that. Yes, let's look at this one with those dates. At the time of its dedication in 1886, President Grover Cleveland placed the Statue of Liberty under the administration of the US Lighthouse Board, since it was categorized as a federal lighthouse. Federal lighthouse. Although the statue torch, it was a lighthouse. It was categorized as a federal lighthouse. Although the statue's torch had been electrified for use as a lighthouse in 1886, the statue had not been designed for this purpose and was not very effective. In 1901, the statue was transferred to the US Department of War. Right. I thought it was empty. I thought that's why they built the statue on here, was because they were disused and weren't used anymore. Anyway. Oh, it's talking a bit more about it actually. They decided to redesign it so that the island's landscape complemented by the Statue of Liberty. This was the first time that the statue on Bedloe's Island would be pulled together into a unified design. Really? I think what they're saying is when you originally got there, the whole thing had all these army buildings on. So what they did was they got rid of them, turned it to green. Now it's a monument. So that's what they mean by that, I think. And obviously a bit more there. You can stop and have a look at that if you want. It's not really telling me what I want. I want to know a bit more about that fort, if anything. Wow, so it says basically the Statue of Liberty was part of Fort Wood harbour's defence system of the War of 1812. The forts of modern-day Liberty Island and Ellis Island successfully prevented New York from falling to the British during the war in 1812. Aha. We're just looking up. Oh, they're driving the dog mad now in the other room. The 11-pointed star structure that now is part of the base of the Statue of Liberty was actually built as a fort. It was completed in 1811, just in time for the War of 1812, even when Bedloe's Island became home to the statue in 1886. The name didn't change. Then was Fort Wood and statue. Let's look at that one. It was a granite star fort selected as the base, where the statue was erected in the centre. Got that date of 1886. What is the island? What? Oh well, we can leave the rest. Anyway, it doesn't really want to budge from that time, does it? There is a few places where you can find about this fort, but I mean it's not pages and pages of it. It's just a few articles. And there's a bit more there. It's got slightly different dates. 1807. It's all a little bit different there. All a little bit different. But it always is. Anyway. I mean, in one sense, it does look better without the buildings. But you can see how big the statue is. And how big that building is here, can't you? Yes, it's big head. I don't know. I'm not quite. Anyway, let's just go to the building. You saw the building. I'm going to find two pictures. I've got to do it this way. I'm just not sure. Okay, you can even see people. You can see how big the statue is to the island. How big it really is, can't you now? Yeah, it takes up about getting on for half the island, right? So, do you get my drift that, I don't know, look at all those buildings on there. And they're not small. I don't know, I'm a bit confused that they got those many buildings on there. Do you understand what I'm talking about? I'm not saying it didn't happen and they weren't there, but, you know, that statue is getting on for half the island, but look how many buildings are there. Yes. And actually, they were mostly there, all that was derelict. You know, like the army had gone. So look at what the buildings were there in the 1800s, early 1800s. These are early 1800s when this was built. And then slowly basic. I mean, look at the size. I just don't know. Are these correct, or is this all made up and been put in? Don't know, because this says it was a torch. I mean, a lighthouse at some point. So that's really crazy, isn't it? Do you get my drift? Anyway, we're going to finish looking at this now, because obviously I've done quite a few minutes on this one. It's always intrigued me, this. Yeah. Thanks very much.
Murfreesboro, Tennessee again. You can tell. Look at that. Look at that. That's crazy. You can so tell. Here we are. Wow.
Hello everybody, we're going to look at a few things today. Obviously what Rich is talking about here, like in London, which I've talked about before, there is a radius of land in the middle of London, and obviously they're in America, and I wonder if that's what they're having problems with today, and that's why we're being put through all this, because obviously that is how big America is, because the rest of it is a corporation. There's another country in New York, there's another country in London. But anyway, thank you very much to that Rich for bringing that back to our attention, although I do talk about that a bit myself. Yes, I quite like this one as well, because basically keep mentioning that the Statue of Liberty, back to the Statue of Liberty, is built on a star fort. And I wanted to bring it to people's attention that in 1884, the French gave America the Statue of Liberty. I mean, in many places it says it was erected in 1880, so the dates don't match up, but that basically it was given to America. Okay. Me and Amy don't believe that, but because obviously I was doing these with Amy last night, these pictures. Anyway, this whole bit next to the Empire State Building was Ellis Island. And I mean, I don't think America realised, but they've got their own little Venice. Yeah, it's smaller, but it's still man-made. It's still man-made land. You should hear how they did it. They just threw things in there. They just threw mud. They threw sacks. They stood on it and all that. But then they made this most amazing thing, which I don't believe. But anyway, I took this picture here to show you at the bottom here. You can see that there's people. And I mean, up here in the pictures, you can only get about 3 or 4 people in the top bit. So no wonder they stopped people going up to the torch. You could only get a couple of people up there. They don't tell you that, they do that. It's that small that's why they don't have anybody up there, because they tried to make it so magnificent and big. I thought it was about 3 times the size of what it is now, especially as what they show in films. And I mean, look at Ellis Island. This is amazing. But you know what this place was? This is where they quarantined the adults and took the children in the 1800s. Quarantined the adults, took the children. Those children became the orphan children of the 1800s. And it's also on some kind of star fort. Look, you can see in the picture here. It's got those, you know, that's just the end, what's left of it. So the boats would come in, the people would get out, then they were all quarantined, and then the children taken. And what does that say? Ellis Island was a federally owned island in New York Harbor that was the busiest immigrant inspection station in the United States from 1892 until 1924. And then, of course, don't forget, you've got the First and Second World War with Hitler, then comes the blonde people, then comes the Aryan race, and so on and so on and so on and so on. So there's probably not much of a gap, really, between any of it, with what they've been doing to us over the years. You know, there is no freedom in America. Anyway, there's no freedom anywhere. Anyway, this was quite amazing. This is a hospital on that island, Ellis Island, where they quarantined everybody. But they didn't have any square. All the corridor, everything was circular to stop disease. It's quite interesting, isn't it? That's why it's rounded. For that reason. So I thought that was quite interesting. Yeah, half of it's in Manhattan, half of it's in New York. Crazy that, isn't there? This is a waterway. I mean, there must have been water there as well, yeah. There isn't now, but they don't use half the island, which is quite crazy. And there you go, it was a fort. So not only do you have a fort here, you have a fort where the Statue of Liberty was. There's forts everywhere. Like, why do you need forts everywhere? Anyway. there was a fort here. So that's what it originally was before they turned it into their, you know, their taking the people and taking the children. There you go. It was mostly man-made, and obviously it says there that half the island is deserted right now. I also had a fishing, you know, a restaurant on there for the fishermen when it turned into that. Pirates were hung there on Ellis Island. That would have been fun, wouldn't it? Yeah. Anyway, on to the next bit. Obviously, yeah, that's about the hidden station with all the trains, but we're not doing that today. And I wanted to say also, when me and Amy were looking the other day, that there are castles all round New York. I mean, this one's just not far from the Twin Towers. And then up the road, there's Bannerman Castle. There's 14 stunning castles hiding in New York, it says. I don't think Americans know. And there's Ellis Island. Yeah. It was quite amazing looking, though, originally. You know, in the 1800s, it doesn't look like it does today, does it? It looks much more, I don't know, Russian-y and so forth. Or whatever. Anyway, that's another. Look at the size of that hospital. 1920s they had that. Look at the size of it. Anyway, that's somewhere else, but I just put that picture in because I'm, you know, me. Anyway, there's a few more different pictures, and we're going to get onto something else in a moment. And look how they built that. How the hell did they build that on there? And I mean, things are just becoming a bit ridiculous, to be honest. And then I like what that person said. It's a takeover, just resets. They called it mud flood, but I think something did happen, because obviously the first video I put on with the lady showing the windows. Belgium is a big place. Oh, I like that one. Look at that. That is just incredible. I like that. I like that. I like it. Oh, yeah, and then I was quite intrigued with this. This is the Niagara Falls, and they're saying in 1969 they stopped the water, and basically when they stopped the water and obviously looking, because they said they were looking to see if there's any damage, whether it needed to be mended, the whole thing. Underneath there was some bodies. That's what the made a stomach churning discovery. They found a few bodies. Me and Amy were looking at it yesterday. Yeah, it's quite amazing that when you stop the water, that's what it looks like. And basically, you know, was it I don't know. Anyway, as I said, there are castles everywhere all over New York. Anyway, we're back to the Statue of Liberty now. Look how many people can get there in the head, round the crown. It's only that big. I mean, I remember films, it looks so big. Obviously lying. Look at that, you can only get a couple of people up there. So it's big, but it's not as big as they said it is. And once you realise that, you realise the fort couldn't be there. Oh yes, and look at this person, hey. He's all the way up there, sort of pivoting on some wooden things. Look at that. It's been just put over that, so it's not even safe. He's got no harness, no nothing. Look, bits of wood put over this, and then he's up there doing whatever it is, because it was a lighthouse originally, wasn't it? Nice to see the Twin Towers in the background there. But that's why they wouldn't allow many people up there, because look, you can't get many people up there. Seriously, by the time you got there, you'd have to walk round and walk down. There'd be no point. It would take all that effort to get up there just to walk round and walk down again. So that's why they stopped people. But they gave a different story, didn't they? Because me and Amy saw this and we thought, well, let's look into this a little bit, which you do. So in a minute, I don't know. Oh, here it is. This is it. Hang on, let's have a look. It can be. It's very good. Recording an explosion at this depot on a pier that connected Black Tom Island to Jersey City, rocked the harbour at 2:08, killing several people and wounding hundreds. Ellis Island was evacuated, and windows as far as Times Square were blown out, according to New Jersey City research. Lady Liberty's arm and torch were injured by the flying debris. Germany had been... Really? What, all the way out there? Germany had been suffering financially and was angered for the US was aiding the British and French with ammunition, so it attacked. They never said that before, did they? Do you see what I mean? Our history is just changing all the time. So basically, you have had bombings and things going on around New York. It's not the only time, 9/11 and so forth. And then obviously Timothy McVeigh, but that's a load of rubbish. I've seen him as a woman. So we know what they do there. But yeah, so there you go. There was another time it was attacked. Crazy. Or what? Anyway, in that bit there, they're starting to explain that obviously people don't go up to the torch anymore. But you can see why they don't go up to the torch. There's another bit there. You can stop and read these articles if you want. But it's obvious why nobody went up there. Because imagine 500 people walking up and they get to the top and they walk round and they walk down again. Now there you go. That's a bit about the explosion. But that's not true, is it? They always have to make these stories up to lie to us. And I mean, you know, that statue looks quite big, doesn't it? But I just don't know anymore. I mean, you can see the head there looks as big as a tree. I don't know. I don't understand it all now. But they're making that thing where the torch is much bigger. But I've seen it. Is it How Harry Met Sally? And there it is again, a bit more information about the fact that France gave it to America. France gave it as a present to America. Can you believe that? And look, there you go. The statue is at least half the size of the island. So how could they get all those buildings on there? They even had some in front of the star. There you go. Look at it. It looks like a great big complex, but it isn't. Couldn't have been. Those buildings would have been minuscule, tiny, whiny. Ridiculous. Isn't that ridiculous? Just ridiculous. Anyway, I've stuck a few more pictures in, as I do. I came across these, so I thought I'd stick them in. I love my Tartaria pictures. Oh, that's good. That's not Tartaria, but you can eat dandelions. I'm sure Lisa would like that. She'd probably be making soup out of it. We've had nettle soup, me and her, when she came to stay. Look at those organs. Just look at the size of them. Just incredible. Now my daughter's doing her hair, but we're finishing now. And look at that. What is that? Person wants to know more information because that seemed to go round and round. I mean, maybe it was a concept, maybe it never happened. I thought that was quite interesting. Anyway, thanks very much for watching and hopefully you like this video. Hello everybody, 2 parts to this video. The other day me and Amy were looking up castles in America and it brings up places like Bannerman. Or what was that built in the 1900s? Look at it, it's like Avalon castles, and even that with this kind of moat thing around it. I thought it was really amazing, like Causeway. But anyway, and we did another video a few weeks ago about Texana and how in the 1800s the Americans went through, and then I realised during the 1800s the American, or whoever took over, changed all the names in America. In the 1800s the names were all changed. The second part of this video, because that's all about the Holy Roman Empire, the Roman Empire, but what it was is this part in Maryland, because obviously me and Amy were doing Maryland yesterday, that there was a place called Rome there. Oh dearie me. Anyway, so there you go. So those are the counties that are changed. In Maryland, Amy, you live in a very famous place. There were other places called Rome as well, which is quite ironic considering the second part of the video, which we're going to do obviously after this one. But I just thought I'd put in a little bit because obviously that's about Rome actually. That probably shouldn't be in there because you don't, well, I suppose you need a passport to go to America. But anyway, this all happened in the sort of 1800s again, you know. So yeah, everything's being changed, everything's being changed, everything's being changed, everything's being changed and changed and changed. Why not just be proud of the fact, you know, we have to live with our Roman bit. Why not just be proud of it? Why erase all this out of history so that most people in America won't even know that in Maryland there was a place called Rome and it's just now the name has been changed. I just think it's all incredible. Which also leads on to the next part of our video, which I have with Gillian, which we will get to very shortly. But I just wanted to tell Amy, you have a Rome in Maryland. It must have been, she said to me there's a great big link with the English, but it must have been the Germans. That's what I think. I'm wondering whether it's the Germans was the link, because, you know, they lie about everything. But it really was called Rome in Maryland. And when you look at some of the buildings, you can see why. Anyway, you can stop these articles and read them yourself. But I mean, we're in the district of Washington. There you go. I don't have the answers looking things up and finding things. And it wasn't the only called Rome either. There were more Romes. The United States. Obviously not now. And then of course number 5 is the real Rome. And there you go, that's where Amy lives. It was called New Rome. And that says 1870. Anyway, I thought that was very, very bizarre. 1870. Oh yeah, and that now leads us to the next part of our video. This next part of the video was a bit of an eye-opener. Gillian came to me, she'd watched this video, it's by a channel called Today I Found Out. And basically, well, shall we let the video begin? Bit of a shock all this. Thanks very much to this channel here for making this video, and it's made me and Gillian think quite a lot.
Have you ever wondered why the Nazi dominion over Germany was called the Third Reich, and well, who were the First and Second Reich? Or want to know more? To begin with, the phrase Third Reich was mentioned as the title of a book published by Arthur Moeller van der Broek in 1923. As you might expect, given the moniker for the regime caught on, the book was a hit with the far right in the region. Within his musings, Moeller more or less prophesied that a future ideal state with all German peoples, including Austria, would be the Drittes Reich in German, which we call the Third Reich. More full translation, however, would be the Third Empire.
Hey everybody, I'm with the luscious Gillian today. Hello Gillian.
Hi. Hi, sorry.
Well, you are luscious, aren't you? Anyway, I'm with the beautiful Gillian. Gillian, we were just talking and you mentioned a video. We're going to watch this video in a minute, but what's the video called?
If Hitler's regime was the Third Reich, who were the first and second?
Okay then. Shall we watch the video then?
Yeah.
Okay then. Let's watch the video. Right, we're on now. The Holy Roman Empire. What was it? The Holy Roman Empire of the German people. Not
Of the German nation.
Of the German nation. So that's what the Third Reich was. The Holy Roman Empire of the German nation.
That's the First Reich. So the Third Reich was Hitler, and so this guy's pondering, trying to find out where the First and Second Reich were.
Yeah.
And he's saying it was the Holy Roman Empire of German.
I've never really heard of it like that. I didn't really see any religion in that. Oh, things are falling down in my room now. I didn't see any religion involved in all this, did you? In the German thing. I didn't think they were heavily into religion. They're promoting
they're
Holy Roman Empire.
German's Austria. See, even like Rome's sus in itself. No one speaks Italian. No one speaks Latin. Latin's not native to any country. So, what's that about? Was it like a secret language or?
I don't know. You
Anyway.
should try learning Welsh. That's even more complicated than Latin.
And the Austria is involved in all. I mean, Austria is Germany. Austria.
Prussia?
And that's the House of Hanover, or no? Who is it? The House of I can't remember their names.
Anyway, we were listening to this video, but we've just stopped to say a bit, like, when I heard that, I thought, oh, I don't remember it being like that myself. Do you? But that doesn't mean it wasn't, and they just changed the name a bit.
Well, it just makes you wonder how involved Germany is with Rome.
Well, all I know is that Hitler was, you know, like, me and James, we were looking at pictures of the 1800s, and then came the orphan children, and then I started saying, well, I think those are the children they put, you know, we came over, we were all coming to America, they put everybody into quarantine and then took their children. And then when Hitler came along, it was the same thing. He was quarantining adults and taking their children. He was part of the same thing.
And did you see how he called them the German nation of Germans? But germination is, you know, plants germinate. Germination.
Oh yeah, and I did a video the other day where in America I realised that when they were showing us all these pictures of Victorian women with long hair, not one of them was blonde. Not one had blue eyes and blonde hair. They were all dark-haired, dark-eyed people. And then, you know, the only person that's mentioning the race, the unequalled race was Hitler. And suddenly blonde people turned up in America and that. And now there's a lot of blonde-haired, blue-eyed people, but there wasn't. Everybody was dark-haired and dark-eyed. So I thought that was quite interesting. Same sort of thing, isn't it?
Well, they seem to think that the hunter-gatherers and the first settlers, I think it was the hunter-gatherers, were dark-skinned with blue eyes. That's what they're starting to get from this heap of skeletons that they found somewhere.
Right.
So it's kind of rewriting everything they thought they knew. In fact, a lot of things are getting rewritten at the moment. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, our history is changing on a daily basis.
Like they're saying that if we came out of the ocean, we had to come out of fresh water. I mean, if we can't have come out of the ocean, life can't have evolved out of the ocean. They did this test and they put a heap of chemicals in a petri dish and they added 1 drop of water and they got something to grow with like a double helix. Like it just sort of grew by itself. And so they're coming up with theory that, or the thoughts that life can't have evolved in the ocean. It's just not the right chemical mix.
I thought we came from, not amoeba. Is it amoeba? It basically just... Yeah.
Single cell organisms in the ocean to stop, you know. But
well, they're
lying.
Like somebody's brought us here, and I think that's what going to America was. I mean, that's why they sent all these blonde-eyed, blue-eyed, blonde children to Australia after the Second World War. They were doing the same. They were populating Australia differently, you know, like they did in America. So they've been populating with blonde and blue-eyed people.
Yeah, now Australia's got one of the biggest populations of blonde-haired, blue-eyed people.
Yeah.
And it can only come from England, the UK.
We don't understand that bit, the bit in between. But so we need to find out, should we stop for a moment? Because we need to find out what was the Second Reich. Okay, we're going to stop for a moment and watch a bit more of the video. Right, I put the recorder back on because Julian's noticed something. What have you noticed, Julian?
Oh, well, he just said that, it's not Rome. Rome was a different place at the time. But it was still made up of a few Italians and Slavs, like even Slavic people. That's what he said.
Slavic people. Yeah, carry on. Yeah.
But it's not the Rome. I thought it was for a while then. But it looks like it's it's the German Rome. Whatever the hell that means.
Well, I haven't even worked out why there's all these Romes all over America yet. Anyway, shall we pause the video a moment? We're coming back. We're coming back. Well, Gillian, so we just stopped again for a minute. So who's this video?
It's bought by a channel called Today I Found Out, and it is if Hitler's regime is the Third Reich, who were the first and second? And I am finding it a bit confusing because I don't know a lot about this part of history and all these different empires.
You said one minute you said it's not linking with Rome, and then the next minute you're saying it is.
Yeah. Well, it seems like they answer to Rome, and they seem to be following the pattern of having an emperor, and then.
So Hitler was an emperor then, basically.
No, because we're back before Hitler.
Right. Okay.
Like we're in the 1600s, and he's all over the place. So yeah, 1800s and.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Okay then. What, should we listen to a bit more then?
Yep.
Okay. That was a bit of a mouthful, Gillian.
Yes, so it is part of the Holy Roman Empire. The first, they included Italy.
Yeah.
Which I guess if you knew the old maps before they changed them, we'd know all that, but because they split it up into countries, it's hard to...
So why did Germany think they were the succession of the Roman Empire then?
Why do what?
They thought they were a version. They thought that they were the Holy Land.
Well, yes, because Rome had fallen, so it moved.
The cat says yes.
You know, those kings are emperors and emperors are popes, and
Well, I looked up a few things on here, so I've got them on the computer. It's going, what are the three German Reichs? Germanic word meaning realm in general, but it typically used in German to designate a kingdom or an empire, especially the Roman Empire. And then it said how many soldiers in the Third Reich? It's quite a lot. Conscription 1 to 2 years, reaching military age annually 700,000, and active personnel, I think it's 18,000,000 total served. That's 18 million, isn't it?
That's the Third Reich.
Yeah.
We know about that one. It was just the first and second.
Okay, wait a minute.
It's the Roman Empire.
Pardon?
Like, holy shit. It's the Roman Empire. Morphed into Germany.
Yeah, it says... Yeah, I've looked it up and it says, what's the First Reich? It was defined as the Holy Roman Empire, 800 to 1806. So it went for quite a long time. It went for 10,000 years as the First Reich, and the German Empire, 1871 to 1918, as the second, while the Third Reich was also an ideal state including all German people, including Austria. In the modern context, the term refers to Nazi Germany. 1 second, my dog's going mad now because she thinks she's going out, I think. The dog's whinging like sooty and sweep now. Yeah, anyway, so, Ellie's just come back. Floss.
I would never put Rome and, like, the Pope in with Nazis and the Third Reich. I would never have connected those two. I don't know if I'm dim or just don't know a lot. But
What you mean? That the link with Italy? You mean?
Yeah.
What was old Germany called? The old name of the German state in 1871 became it's the Deutsches Reich, linking it to the former Reich before 1806 and the rudimentary Reich of 1848 and 1849. That was only a year.
So that must have been Holland, Netherlands.
What does Reichstag? Oh, that's something different. And then there's Prussia, Germany, Poland. Be a bit shocked about that then.
Well, yeah, like Tartaria, you know.
Which seem to be ruling everywhere anyway. Oh right, you're thinking it's all to do with Tartaria and they got rid of it by calling it...
The end of it, it's what's left of it. The last of the, you know, the monarchs and things. So everyone thinks Tartaria was really good, but I doubt that it was.
Date dissolved 1945, and it says historical era interwar. Second World War is an interwar.
What does that mean?
Don't know, it's just what it says on the computer. State, Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany, officially known as the German Reich, was until 1943, and Greater German Reich from 1943 to 45 was the German state between 1933 and 1945, when Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party controlled the country, which they transformed into a dictatorship. Nothing changes much, does it? Because that's what we're in right now.
Yeah, I want to find out more about the First Reich.
Okay, should we look that up then? Hang on, 1 second, let me just... So, the Holy Roman Empire, Gillian, was Germany. It says here, Holy Roman Empire, he defined the Holy Roman Empire 800 to 1806 as the First Reich, and the German state 1871 to 1918 as the Second Reich, and the Third Reich was an ideal state including all German people, including Austria. In the modern context, the term refers to Nazi Germany. It's crazy how we can go from Rome to Nazi Germany in 3 Reiches.
And I thought the Roman Empire went back 1,000 years.
Well, it does though to this 800 to 1806.
Oh, 800. Okay, so that's 1,000 years. 800 to 1806.
Yeah.
Okay, there's that 1,000-year reign that he was talking about. Okay.
But that was all under the Holy Roman Empire, which was Tartaria.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying, isn't it? The Holy Roman Empire was actually Tartaria.
It sounds like it. Because, like, Tartaria to me is like the Commonwealth. You know, the Commonwealth is like 50 nations now, apparently have joined the Commonwealth. So you can have the head, which is England, the UK, but you still have all these allied countries that have similar systems and laws and things. That's how I kind of see Tartaria. I still see it as a heap different.
They don't want to link it though to Tartaria, do they?
No, well, there's not much about Tartaria, is there?
It's got here related searches: Fourth Reich, Fifth Reich, whatever that is. Holy Roman Empire, Fourth Reich flag. Should we have a look? It's got First Reich definition and meaning. Should we have a look at that?
See, how can the First Reich only have started 800 AD? When wasn't it the Romans that killed Jesus? Weren't they in a Roman town? So was that a different Rome? And then the Germans took it over for 1,000 years? I don't understand.
Well, we're not supposed to understand it, are we? That's the point. Nothing ever links up properly for us to understand.
Well, what are the dates of the Roman era?
The first... Right, so, number 1, the Holy Roman Empire is the First Reich. Number 2 is the Hohenzollern Empire of 1871 to 1919. So they've changed the dates in this one. That's the Second Reich. Then the Weimar Republic, whatever that is, Weimar Republic was 1919 to 1933. And then the Nazi was the fourth one from 1933. Oh, sorry, I see. The The second one, sorry, is 1871 to 1919, and the third one was 1933 to 1945. So, Gillian's going to ask, what's the First Reich? Go on, Gillian, ask what it says.
What is the date of the Roman Empire?
27 BC. According to Rome, Roman Empire, 27 BC to 476 AD. The Roman Empire was founded when Augustus Caesar proclaimed himself the first emperor of Rome in 31 BC and came to an end with the fall of Constantinople in 1453 CE.
Yeah, that's not quite what it's saying in here. So what's the second one, Gillian?
No,
Ask,
it's not matching up with the German.
ask what the Second Reich is then.
Well, I didn't ask what the First Reich was. That was what were the dates of the German Empire. I'll ask it, what is the First Reich?
Sorry, I can't find anything on your calendar that matches that.
What's the first Roman Holy Empire then? So that's Rome. That's Rome, but
Here's what I found.
Yeah, now it's just telling me to go search things.
because it went to 1806 on the computer, and includes German and Austrian, and there's obviously other countries as well.
Did the Roman Empire It must have morphed into Germany. Because when did it... No, hang on. It sounds like it had a 400-year break, because the First Reich goes from, what, 800 AD?
Yeah, it says
And
here to
the Roman
1806.
Roman Empire ended 400 AD.
Doesn't say that. It says Holy Roman Empire 800 to 1806 as the First Reich. And then there was the Second Reich and then the Third Reich, but they're to do with Germany.
Yes, whereas there was the Holy Roman Empire, over in Jerusalem or wherever the hell they were. Where was Jesus? What were the Romans doing there, killing Jesus and Moses? I'm confused.
You've got a helicopter going over at the moment. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, 2 military ones going over. 2 big military helicopters. Both got 2 blades on them. They're going over. They've gone now.
How far is Israel from Rome, from Italy?
Well, they're probably a bit closer to Israel, but I wouldn't have said they're very close. Because you've got to get past Turkey to get to Israel.
Yeah.
So we're a bit more confused now how they've managed to slide the Holy Roman Empire over to the German Reich.
Well, it sounds like it's just an extension of it. Be the same family players making a comeback, by the sounds of it. Or, I don't know.
Britannia says the same thing. 800 to 1806 is the First Reich. The German Empire was 1871 to, and that was the Second Reich. And obviously comes the third one. But I don't understand.
History will probably tell us.
Yeah, so basically I found this map. And it's got the First German Reich. And it's got Italy in it. But it says the First German Reich. Italy, it's got Corsica. I don't know what those islands are there next to Italy. But, because those are the Minorca, Menorca and all that. So don't know what they are. Can't remember now. But it includes Italy. But it says the Germans' First Reich. Not Italy's First Reich. The German. What the hell does that mean?
I don't know. Unless they spread out from Italy, and then once it collapsed, there was just...
Because Germany is at the top of Italy.
Germany.
So they only, like, whoever it was, they only had to go over a border to get them. It wasn't like they had to go 6 countries along or anything.
I know, but Italy and German, Italian and German is not the same. They speak different languages. And then the bloody Vatican speaks its own language again, you know. It's just weird shit.
What, how he got to the Third Reich, you mean?
Well, and how they speak Italian,
Well, who would have linked the First Reich to Germany? It's on the map. It says, was the Holy Roman Empire the First Reich? The Germans' First Reich. It's got Italy in it. It doesn't say Italy, it says German.
Yeah.
So what did that mean then, after all? That Germany was ruling Italy?
Or their descendants were, or that's who the popes were. So they made, you know how we have like a World Bank? Well, they must have made a world person who's allowed to crown kings and queens and emperors and stuff. I don't...
It's a bit confusing, isn't it? We weren't expecting to think that the... And it's got the Fourth Reich was in 1947. Well, I've got to look at that one in a moment. We're going over to that one. But, well, let's look at that one, because we're so confused. We may as well go and look at this one. The Fourth Reich was from 1947. And that had France, Germany, Poland, Italy, Romania, Yugoslavia, Finland, Sweden. Because they're all in red.
It's like Commonwealth. They don't see it as an evil, you know. Like, ooh, it's just a group of countries that have grouped together.
Yeah, but you'd have never have linked it with Italy, would you? You thought Italy was, you know, the way that they direct us, it's all to Italy, not to Germany.
Yeah.
There's another picture. Hang on 1 second. It was nothing. It was only a bit of Italy and Germany. The Second Reich was Germany, and then the Third Reich had all the other countries: Italy, Romania, and the rest in, and that was Nazi Germany. I don't understand how Germany's got a big hold on it. Do you get that? 1 second.
Yeah.
1 second. I didn't know this. Right, look at this. There's that map a little bit bigger. It says again. First Reich was the small map dated 1914, shows an area ruled by Kaiser Wilhelm, who was profound emperor in 1871 when Germany took its place as the world power over Franco-Prussian War. The second one was 1919. Well, they've changed it all. They've put this further forward. And then the third one was 1941 to 1942. People have made mistakes then. Oh, these are Reich. This is the Reich, but not the Roman Empire. But we've been linking it in with the Roman Empire. So, wow. Okay, I'm going to go off that one. Well, I've looked up the Holy Roman Empire. It's really crazy because in all that German stuff with the Reich and everything, it's got the double-headed... what did I say it was? Double-headed... Griffin. And here we go to the Roman Empire, which goes from 800 to 1806. We've got the double-headed Griffin again. And it includes part of Italy, probably with Rome in it, up through to Germany. The Holy Roman Empire went into Germany. I never knew that. Did you?
No.
The Holy Roman Empire, historically denoted as the Holy Roman Empire of the Northern Nation, was a multi-ethnic complex of territories in Western and Central Europe that developed during the early Middle Ages and continued until its dissolution in 1806 during the Napoleonic Wars. Well, I never knew that.
But hang on, weren't the Romans around when Christ was, you know, at year 0?
Well, they were here then, weren't they?
Because that's what we read earlier, that, you know, Constantine.
Yeah, they were here.
The teen.
And they didn't
Yeah,
go. They didn't take the
forward.
Pickland people because they were so fierce. So they didn't take them. They were here until about 800.
You love Google. It gives you different answers.
Well, they never want you to find the truth. But we had it here till about 800, and then they left. 1 second. Well, that's really strange because they're talking about Germany there, but before that, England was part of the Roman Empire. It was a Roman-like province, and it was from 43 AD, they said, to 410. On here on Google.
And year 0 is supposed to be the year Jesus died, not the year he was born. So he was supposedly a 10-year-old when they took over.
No, it was just after he died. It was just after he died, basically.
They'd just taken over when he was born. 10 years after he was born.
Yeah.
10 years before he was born, sorry. Before.
But they don't mention that. One second. I'm going to go back to this one. They don't mention it
he was born
in
into
this
a
one.
revolution. He was born just as some other people took over the world, basically.
Well, that's not what it's saying in here with the double griffin, which is also in this lot here. The Holy Roman Empire with the double griffin.
And is the griffin whales? Is that what they have? No.
Well, they have dragons, but I think they were the same things, but they've been turned into dragons. Oh, my picture's coming down. Picture I put up. Whoops, that's a picture that's fallen over. Sorry about that. Yeah, it goes into Italy, but it's actually Germany was the Holy Roman land, not Italy. What's going on? They're just changing our history all the time, aren't they?
Oh, no, well, we're just finding out what the details of how little we knew.
Well, I'm quite shocked. I didn't think that the Roman Empire was all to do with Germany. That's there. In 1946, it was France. It was loads of places. But you know this isn't true. This is obviously Tartaria, and then they've had to cover it up with this rubbish. Wow, I never knew that. So basically, the Roman Empire was Germany, not Italy. I'm a bit gobsmacked, Gillian.
So the Vatican is more run by people than it running things. It's just a front shop.
1 second.
That it was one of the biggest empires. I thought it.
Yeah, so I'm just recording this again, right? Because we wanted to know what was the Holy Roman Empire. And it says it was located in Western and Central Europe, and it included parts of what is now known as France, Germany and Italy. When have you ever heard that before? Never ever in any of the films did they include any of the other countries. It's just Italy and Rome. And now it's not. It's actually Germany, really.
And then, of course, you know, Catholics are everywhere, so they got into quite a few countries. In Europe, a lot of Europe countries that are full-on Catholic.
Why have they totally linked it to Italy, only Italy, when actually it was actually Germany? Your cat's trying to tell us.
World War II, and the way they made Hitler look like the bad guy. It's like Germany, that no one wanted to be connected with Germany. Maybe.
Don't quite know what to make of it all, Gillian.
tried to separate
Why
themselves.
was Germany called the Holy Roman Empire? The Holy Roman Empire was named after the Roman Empire and was considered its continuation. This is based in the medieval concept of translatio imperii, whatever that is. The Holy Roman Empire looked to Charlemagne. I can't even say it. It's Charlemagne.
Charlemagne.
That's it. King of the Franks, and its founder, who had been crowned Emperor of the Roman on Christmas Day in 800 by Pope Leo III.
King of the Franks. What is that? France, or is that like Frankenstein? You know,
Franks. Probably they're German, aren't they? When did the Roman Empire become Germany? When did the Holy Roman Empire become Germany? In the largest territory of empire after 962 was the Kingdom of Germany, though it also included the neighbouring Kingdom of Bohemia and the Kingdom of Italy. There you go, it came second, look, and it came third. First of all, it was the Kingdom of Bohemia, then the Kingdom of Italy. What? And the numerous other territories.
So Bohemia, is that all the Slavic countries and that, up to Russia?
It's not really anything to do with Italy. Italy's just one of them. So why is the Pope in Italy? He should be in Germany.
Last of their castles left, or was their biggest castle compound? I don't know.
Well, I'm really shocked about that. Who defeated the Holy Roman Empire? Napoleon. You see, he's actually turning out to be a goodie, not a baddie, Napoleon, after everything they said about whatever it was. You know, they gave him red carnations here because they admired him.
And he broke the guild. Like, I think it's a guild. You had to be like the son of somebody to, you know, son of a carpenter to be a carpenter. Otherwise, you were a peasant. So he broke those two things, and divorce, and he brought in divorce and made it so that anybody could do anything. There were the two things I only heard that they'll tell you about Napoleon.
The Holy Roman Empire ended in 1806. It was dissolved. Is there still a Roman Holy Empire? So after thousands of years, it was finally dissolved in 1806 by the Neapolitan Wars. The current head of House Hamburg is 59-year-old Karl von Hamburg, who would be claimed to be both the Austro-Hungarian Empire and the Holy Roman Empire.
So he ended it, or he was the last one?
It was dissolved in 1806 by the Napoleon, and then, but he was the emperor. The emperor. So it's the search is like, who destroyed the Roman? The barbarian kingdoms had established their own power in much of the area of Western Empire in 476. The Germanic barbarian king, oh my goodness, Odoacer, deposed the last emperor of the Western Roman Empire in Italy, Romanus Augustus.
Germany took him out. Took over, okay.
Right, the difference between the Roman Empire and the Holy Roman Empire. The difference is the Roman Empire that was overseen by a Roman government. The Holy Roman Empire was overseen by a Holy Roman emperor under the Vatican in Rome. The Roman Empire collapsed in 476 when Rome was sacked by the Goths. And it starts going on about when the Vikings came in and all that. It starts going on.
No, Vikings turn up. The blonde hair, red haired, blue-eyed people.
Well, I'm a bit shocked that after all, the Holy Roman Empire wasn't really Italy. Italy was a part of it. It says here, the Holy Roman Empire was located in Western and Central Europe and included parts of what is now France, Germany and Italy. So Italy was part of something else. Wow.
Okay, so France was split, just parts of France. So that would explain why Napoleon, being French, took out the Roman Empire when his country's half part of it, but he must have come from the part that wasn't part of it.
Well, they must have really lied about Napoleon then.
Or the part that was and wanted to be free. No.
And this 18 time is coming up for when we were all exiting over to America, and then they took the children, and then they became the orphan children, and then later on Hitler did the same thing. I'm sorry, I do think Hitler's part of their game.
Yeah, see, there's no hero. 'Cause Napoleon, they just usurp each other. So he didn't throw them over and free everybody. He wanted to overthrow them and take their place.
Well, he thought he was an emperor, didn't he? I've got pictures of him with a laurel thing on his head.
He made them call him an
Yeah,
emperor.
let's look up a picture of I'll put Emperor Napoleon.
An emperor sounds flash, but it's the same as king. It equals a king. An emperor and a king, same rank.
Here we go. Emperor Napoleon. So we're going to put him in there. And then that's going to show that because he thought he was an emperor, didn't he? There it is. And I'm going to put images up because some of them he's got a laurel thing on him. Because I've seen this before. Because he crowned himself.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. He crowned himself the emperor.
It's a laurel wreath.
There he is wearing his little wreath. I am absolutely shocked to realise that Germany was the head of the Roman Empire. Have you ever heard anything more ridiculous in your life? Have you, Gillian? I'm a bit shocked. Well, I don't know why anything shocks me anymore, but...
I think it's very clever, actually.
What? That they've totally lied to us and made us have history that doesn't exist?
Well, that they morph and change themselves and... I mean, obviously it's not the same people when you're talking over hundreds of years, but it's that ideology and...
Wow.
And, well,
what's your
power
thoughts
that they-
then on the fact that it wasn't Italy, it was Germany?
Things are becoming clearer now. Like, history's just making a little more sense.
Is it? Tell me then. Tell us. Tell us. Tell us, Gillian. I'm confused.
Oh, well, it's just trying to find the trail of... Because it morphs all over the place, this control mechanism. Like, every rule... They all try it whenever they come to power, their generation.
Wow. So we can't tell anybody much more because that's just what the computer's saying. But we just wanted to tell everybody that, after all, Germany was the Holy Roman Empire and the Reich.
And see, the other thing I have a problem is why do they speak Latin when no country in the world speaks Latin? I need to look into that a little bit more. Like,
But you know what? You look up Welsh. That's even more complicated than Latin, and it's older than Latin. And they've got like loads of letters, so it's a bit like they could have an X and an X and a Y and a Y, and they don't have. It doesn't like cat, bat, and then turn into a word. They just have letters together.
But that's a language a whole country spoke. This is a language that no country speaks. And I'm sure the people in the Vatican, like, speak Italian as well. They're going to have two languages, Latin, because Latin's pretty useless nowadays. It would have been useless back then unless you're in this, elite club.
Well, I wonder if anybody else is just as shocked as me that... I mean, Italy's just an added part of it. It's not the main part. In fact, it was included in with Germany. It was Germany that was the Holy Roman Empire. Oh, it's a joke, isn't it? It's like a joke. Anyway, do you want to stop there with a big sort of like, wow, I'm a bit, wow.
Yes, it's midnight here. I need to get some sleep.
Oh, Gillian, well, thank you very much for helping me do that. It's your fault. You brought up the video. But are you a bit shocked then that Germany was the Holy Roman Empire?
Yeah, I saw that video yesterday and I'm like, really? That blew me away. It was like, someone look at this, someone listen to this one.
Yeah, we've come back for a second because we're obviously adding a little bit, but I'm really shocked that the Reich actually was the German Empire. But what are you going to say, Gillian? Say that bit again.
Well, it started because I was looking into Austria, for various reasons, Austria. But it turns out, you've got the Habsburgs, but you've also got a guy who was the last king of Austria, and he was the last emperor of Germany. Same person. He held both titles. And after World War I, I think, he'd only just inherited from his father. It was either World War I or World War II. He got dethroned when they redistributed all of Europe, when they cut it up. And he came back in the 30s, I think, and tried to get his throne back again, and they banished him. And then he died of typhoid, I don't know, a few years later.
Or became someone else. But it says here the Holy Roman Empire is the Holy Roman Empire of the German nation.
Sorry.
What's funny about that?
Because we all think it's Italy, and it's not the Holy Roman Empire of the Italian nation. That's what I would have thought it would say. But it makes more sense as to why...
But they've totally lied to us.
The Vatican is so disconnected from Italy. They don't give a shit about Italians, because they're friggin' Germans. I'm surprised they let them keep the Vatican after World War I, II, or whatever.
So what are they in the Vatican then? Germans?
So obviously the kings and queens that hadn't sided with the Vatican, they got taken out. Because you lost the Russian one, the Tsar of Russia.
Oh, but he became the King of England.
Japan lost their emperor. They took out quite a few of them, and I guess then the
Don't
rest
forget they
just
changed all the names in America.
And there's a few kings and queens in Europe where they've got even less power and wealth than the English monarchy. They've given up way more of them, but they still exist. So not all of them got wiped out. So
Well, I'm a bit shocked. I mean, it doesn't really talk about Italy the same. All it's talking about is Germany.
Yeah. So
wow.
People have no say in it.
That's the complete opposite of anything we've been taught. So this is why Hitler, in the myth of it all, decides that he wants to be the ruler of everything because he thinks he's got a right because he was part of the Holy Roman Empire.
The Italian people put up with it because they feel special that the Vatican's there, like they're chosen people, like the Jewish people or something.
They're totally lying, though.
Because that would piss me off if Germany had a castle right in the middle of my country. A rich friggin' castle.
Wow, I'm a bit shocked that we don't know our history at all. We were never taught this at school, were we? I mean, I can understand that they don't want to link too much to Germany because of concentration camps and all that. You can see why they don't want to link it too much. But if it was the truth, they needed to have told us. Do you know what? A part of my bloodline's German. Obviously, that part of my family was running away. My dad's German. No, my mum. No, my nana. My nana, my dad's parents are French and German and Jewish.
I mean, I find the whole thing really confusing because, Germany also got taken out because they had a lot of industry and they were becoming self-sufficient, sort of.
Well, that can't be the truth then, can it? Because nothing's the truth. How can this be all over our computer
Well,
when actually we went to
maybe-
school and we've learnt something totally different? Should we ask Amy who
Well,
she
maybe-
thinks the Roman Empire is? What country she is? She's going to say Italy.
maybe Rome's, the last of it, one half was German and one half was the Vatican, and maybe the
Well,
German
when
people
it was
were doing well
going, it was only in half of Italy. All of Germany and other countries came later on.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very complex.
Well, we've only just found it out, haven't we? Well, I'm just going to leave it with everybody in the chat room. Like, who would have believed this? That we're turning around and telling you that not only was it the Reich, and there was even more. I mean, I've got to 4 and 5 Reichs, but they happened in the 1940s. But depending on which article you look at, but actually the Reich was the Roman Empire, and Germany was the head of it. It's like a joke, isn't it? Wow. Well, thank you for that one, Gillian.
You're most welcome.